Hello, Texas Wesleyan baseball fans. It's Coach Garza here. We are coming to you today with something different, something that we haven't done before. We are doing a Where Are They Now? And this episode is a coach's episode. It is a former player that has gone into the coaching field. He's done a great job with the Texas Rangers, research and development. He's a pitching coach with the Texas Rangers, Avery Sullivan. But before we get to him, I'd like to introduce to you a special guest, a very, very special guest who will be our host with the series. His name is Carlos Medina. Carlos has worked in the sports talk radio industry since 2001 as a producer, a host, and a news reporter. He's a graduate of Texas Wesleyan University, and he's also a graduate of the University of Alabama. He has covered NFL assignments in both the Dallas and Atlanta markets. Carlos is a dedicated fan of the game and is a student of the NFL organization's success. He's also served as a media consultant for the Atlanta-based NFL Combine training facilities, teaching future NFL draftees about the business and media aspects of the NFL. He can be heard on weekdays on Sports Radio 680 The Fan in Atlanta, Georgia. Carlos was here at Texas Wesleyan. He wore the Texas Wesleyan University jersey, Texas Ram baseball jersey, back from 1999 to 2003. He is the Ben Zobrist of the Texas Wesleyan Rams. Super utility, played all positions, pitcher. I think Carlos, you pitched at the end of your career, but also came in as an infielder, outfielder, really all jack of the trades.
I like to joke whenever we would have our yearly banquet or we would, golf tournaments and stuff, and we'd have to introduce ourselves. They would always say, okay, say your name and your position. And I would always say, Carlos Medina, I go play wherever coach tells me to. And so that was pretty much what my career was for 4 years at Texas Wesleyan.
Excellent, excellent. So Carlos, first and foremost, why Texas Wesleyan? What was it about Texas Wesleyan that attracted you to come play baseball?
There was two things predominantly. I grew up in San Antonio, Texas, and I was looking at programs similar to that. I'd been recruited by Incarnate Word University. I'd been recruited by St. Mary's. I had gone on a visit to Sam Houston State University, and I was kind of curious about going there. And then I really got connected with the coach at the time, Willie Gavlik, who had coached in San Antonio, who'd been at St. Mary's. My high school coach had coached for him. And so once that interest level started, it came down to me, the city. Fort Worth is such a great place to be at, the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex. And for somebody who spent basically 18 years in San Antonio, I wanted something more. And Wesleyan was providing that, but also with the class size and everything I wanted. And so it was kind of a marrying of the multitude of things. I wanted to get out there a little ways. I wanted to try some different stuff. And the Wesleyan opportunity was just too good to pass up.
Excellent. Well, we are really glad to have you on board. We're really glad to have you as the host. You come with a lot of experience. And just to know that we have a former alumni that's going to be leading the way with these series, Where Are They Now series. We really appreciate you doing this for us, and we're very thankful to have you.
Well, I'm looking forward to it. Like I said, especially getting a chance to catch up with some of the guys that obviously you got a chance to coach with, and then some of the guys that I got a chance to play with. I think this is going to be a really cool series.
Excellent, excellent.
Well, let's start right here. As the first one, and Avery, I hate to put this out here. Coach initially had you as the fourth guy I was going to talk to, but this all ends up working out well as we're joined by Avery Sullivan, played ball at Wesleyan from 2013 to 2016. And Avery, I always talk with the guys, and when we kind of did some of the pre-meeting on this stuff, you were catching up with some of the guys you played with. I always talk about how much it means to catch up with the guys. What do you miss most about playing baseball at Texas Wesleyan University?
Well, first off, Carlos, Coach G, thanks for having me on. As a sidearm pitcher, I was known as a power hitter, so it's no surprise I was 4-hole. I would say, what I miss most about playing at Wesleyan and being at Wesleyan is just being in the trenches with my teammates. Those long fall practices, the grind of games, and just getting to form those relationships with the guys. I feel like I got a group of lifelong brothers out of it. You know, I was talking with Ziggy earlier. I haven't talked to him in a couple years, but we catch up like we just saw each other yesterday, you know. So definitely just miss being with the guys. But
well, I wanted to ask you about this because I noticed the shirt. Now that we do everything on video, obviously the Texas Rangers organization, getting a chance to work with that organization, how cool is it? Because it's special when you can come right out of college and have an organization like that that says, you know what, you spent your time playing ball, you're qualified for this, you got the right education, let's bring you into the fold. And how has that been, and how's it been working with a professional organization like that?
I mean, it's a dream come true. You know, grew up a lifelong Rangers fan, so I would have even like taken a job with the Yankees or any of the 30 teams. You know,
you can't do that. No, say Rangers only.
But you know, it was a really special opportunity. I, you know, just fortunate enough, made connections while I was in graduate school studying biomechanics, working at TMI Sports Medicine, and so there were some connections with the Rangers there, and they liked my background and shipped me out to Arizona as soon as I finished school at UTA. So yeah, it's been really special. I didn't realize how much I missed being in the team setting while I was in grad school, you know, more in the kind of the private sector. So yeah, just getting back in the team setting, getting back in the dugout with the guys there. It's been a real blessing. So yeah.
Avery Sullivan is our guest from 2013 to 2016. Got an opportunity to pitch and play ball. Now, I want to ask you about that because, you know, some of the things that we were talking about pre-show with a lot of the guys is the work that goes into it, the blood, sweat, and tears, how hot it is at Sycamore Park and everywhere else that we're playing ball. How much has establishing that, you know, other kids go off to college and they get 11 o'clock chances to go to school and their, you know, final class at 3 o'clock. That's not what it is when you're a collegiate athlete. How much has that grind during college for you really helped you moving forward?
Oh, 100%. You know, just the work ethic of having to have those 8 a.m. classes because you know you got practice every day in the afternoon, and then sometimes night classes after that. You know, it's like what you're doing on the field is hard work and it's hot and it's long hours, but then all the work that goes in off the field as well. But you know, had a good support system at Wesleyan to kind of help me get accustomed to that my freshman year, and then all the way through senior year. You know, I'm very thankful for all the people I was around during my time at Wesleyan. So, yeah, definitely helped establish a work ethic on and off the field for me for sure.
It's a good opportunity now for me to bring up Coach Garza in this standpoint because we get around certain people that influence to go certain ways. What were your thoughts on your time with Coach after you left the program, and has that influenced you at all in being a coach moving forward?
Oh yeah, absolutely. So Coach G and I kept in contact after I graduated, which I don't think everyone gets to have that opportunity. But yeah, he's helped me even after I was done playing, helping me with connecting with people throughout the Metroplex and through the game of baseball. So yeah, he's been a big help for me, and I know many other players kind of helping us get connected and get on our feet after we were done playing. So and get out there in the real world. So
when did you know you wanted to be a baseball coach? Was that something that you knew while you were playing college ball that at some point I want to go down this road, or was it just a matter of it hitting you out of nowhere and saying this seems like the right path for what I'm looking to do post playing career?
So that's kind of funny. I knew probably about midway through college for sure I wanted to be around the game. I didn't know if that was going to be as a coach or in some other aspect. And so going to grad school at UTA, I was more in the private sector actually, more on kind of the biomechanics, the research side of things. So I knew I wanted to stay around the game in some aspect, but I thought I was kind of trending more towards that direction. And then again, just fortunate enough to get an opportunity with the Rangers to get back in the dugout, get back on the field. And I think that experience kind of helped me have more of a well-rounded approach to it. But yeah, it sort of just all played out that way. I wasn't dead set on coaching, but I'm glad it worked out like that.
Avery Sullivan is our guest as we get this entire video series going, and I want to follow up on that. So what has been that eye-popping moment when, as you've been kind of coaching, been around some of these guys, what is the moment where you said, okay, this is for real now. This is what I'm doing. This is my profession. Was there a moment that jumps out to you where you just went, okay, this is what it's now going to be like?
Yeah, I think just getting out to Arizona, out to the spring training complex here, and just like seeing that jersey in my locker, I think was kind of the like it sort of set in. It was all pretty surreal up until that point, and then, but I mean, just getting around the other coaches and getting around the players and being back on the field, it's all second nature. It's whether you're college baseball, high school baseball, professional baseball. I mean, I was coaching select baseball for a short time during grad school and after I graduated from Wesleyan. So, I mean, we're all baseball guys. We all know the game, and just being able to see the players out here, it's pretty fun because they can all hit a ball about 450 feet. So
it's funny you mentioned that. Like, I remember my first spring training covering the team going, man, these guys are a lot better than me. I had no chance at this level. It's really eye-opening. Let me follow up with that, because I think everything when you start coaching, you start seeing the game maybe a little bit differently than you did. Obviously, you had a ton of success in your college career. What has now happened? How do you now view the game a little differently, where you said, I viewed it this one way while I'm in college. Now to see it played at this level, it's changed how I kind of view the game. Is there any of those situations for you?
Yeah, I think just, I mean, obviously the goal is to always keep learning and evolving. And I think I know a lot more now than I did even last year or 2 years ago. And especially when I was in college. And I think the game's changed a ton with just the technology that's out now, and kind of how everything is sort of under a microscope, as far as like, we know exactly how fast every guy runs to first base now. I think you can't get away with as much as a player. So yeah, the game has changed a lot, just from the technology aspect, the analytics. Yeah, so I would say just having all that extra information, all the data to kind of sort through when you're making decisions about players, how you're developing them, that sort of thing. So.
Well, I can tell you, I heard that your WAR was very high and your whip was very strong. So I can tell you from that standpoint, we're good. So I have a question here for you. This has been teed up. Coach G says this is okay if I do it. What is your worst Coach G moment? What sticks out to you where you go and kind of work it from there? What was that situation for you?
Oh, there was a little friction at that first year when G came in. Just from the culture we had to what he was trying to get us to, there was a pretty big difference. And he created a really competitive environment in practice. So, that sometimes got tempers flaring and stuff. I think my own personal moment was kind of my own undoing. I had a big biology final or something. And so I threw in an inter squad in practice on a Thursday, and then pulled an all-nighter that night, and then come back to practice the next day. And I'm a reliever, so they wanted me to practice pitching multiple days in a row. So 0 sleep between outing 1 and outing 2 the next day of practice. And I don't think I threw more than 3 strikes. And usually in inter squads, they would just roll the inning. I think they actually pulled me from the inning and brought a different pitcher in because I was doing so bad. So that one was on me though. But no, by the end of the day, it was definitely a much better kind of competitive environment, driving that development once G showed up, and especially into that second year, my senior year. So.
Finishing up here with Avery Sullivan, played ball here from 2013 to 2016 over at Texas Wesleyan University. What would you say to somebody, whether they're a recruit, whether they're just, kind of looking into the program? What would you tell them as far as your biggest thing to say, this is why it makes a lot of sense and why it's been helpful to you to be a Ram?
I think a lot of people don't necessarily consider going NAIA. But I know it was definitely the right experience for me. And just the culture that they've kind of cultivated at Wesleyan, if you're willing to put in the hard work, they're going to help you develop as a player. And more so, they'll help you develop as a person off the field. You're going to see through this video series, there's a lot of us that have ended up in coaching roles, staying around the game, or even outside of the game, had some pretty good success. So I'm definitely thankful for all the relationships I built during my time at Wesleyan. And I think it's a great place to be and just develop, you know.
Well, Coach, I don't understand why you wanted him batting fourth to start with, but I'm glad we started off this series. Please, Coach, anything you would like to go ahead and say to Avery to finish
Power
this up?
hitter, baby.
Yeah,
Power hitter.
Power hitter. So, you know, Avery, I'm glad you didn't bring up the Oklahoma Baptist situation where I almost left you at the gas station in the middle of nowhere, Oklahoma. But you know, I'm so thankful to have Avery on this series. See what he's done. I mean, it's no surprise. Just seeing how he went about his business every day, his preparation, his care for his body. To be able to recover. I know he spoke a little bit about the long night and the recovery, not much recovery between inter squads, but, you know, no one did it better than Avery. It's trying to take care of his body and be ready to go for the next day. And we're so thankful to have Avery come through our system. It's really exciting to see him in professional baseball. And we look forward to following him throughout the years. And who knows? Maybe one day he'll be able to throw out some free tickets to the Rangers whenever he's coaching in the big leagues, and the Texas Rangers are playing in the World Series once again.
That's right. Once we get baseball back, good to go.
It's funny, Avery, for a guy and myself who I work at a radio station that's the flagship of the Atlanta Braves. I constantly get asked for tickets, so I can't wait till it's you who are finally getting all your teammates calling you up saying, man, hook me up. Let's make that happen. It's been really good getting a chance to meet you. And like I said, you know, best on continued success. And thank you for doing this video series.
Yeah, thanks, Carlos. Thanks, G. Appreciate you all having me on.
You bet.